You're listening to the Daily Nugget, dnugget.com. I'm Janelle. This is, and I have to introduce my crew first. Jenn's the ref. Now, she's been doing a pretty good job this week so far. Thumbs up.
Was there already a flag on the play?
Yeah, and you're always offensive. I'm just going to say, with all your neck meat, butter, and cheese things.
Wow.
I made it grosser than it was somehow. I don't know how. Neck meat.
And then we have Sam, who cleans up this podcast somehow for us to all.
Oh, I do no cleaning whatsoever.
Well, and
sometimes
this is
I cut it early.
That's
what you mean. Sometimes I cut the podcast off early because we delve too deep.
Right. Because we get out of control. This is Parental Wednesday, and it is November the 13th.
Mm-hmm. And I
think that's a good spot to cut the episode. We're good.
And that's the nugget. No, we're gonna do a little bit more. Okay. I don't know. Do you guys still have any candy left over from Halloween?
I actually went and bought some today. That was
on sale.
What kind of candy does Janelle Keith get?
Well, I don't eat it, but
So, what are you buying it for? Your dog?
No, I'm buying it for Christmas because I'm going to recycle it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
You know who that sounds like? Andy Uso.
Great minds? I don't know, saving money?
Andy's just don't bury it and dig it back up in lots of years from now.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Have some grave candy. Don't do that.
Well, there's one place that usually doesn't even have trick-or-treaters on Halloween, Des Moines. Since 1938, they've done trick-or-treating in their city the day before October 31st, so October 30th.
You come here.
It's called Beggar's Night.
Thanks, buddy.
Why?
Stick your head in here and say hi.
So,
you don't want to be on the podcast?
Who is it?
It's my son.
Oh, Levi.
Anyway, he doesn't want to be on the podcast.
Okay.
I don't blame him.
That's too bad.
No.
So, 1938, there was a city parks director that wanted to find a way to reduce vandalism and promote more wholesome fun for kids. And I don't know, was it like the Purge or something in Iowa, in Des Moines, before 1938?
Who knows?
I am very interested to see what happened in 1937 to decide in 1938, guys, we got to change this. This is getting out of hand.
It sounds pretty serious.
Well, I know.
There should be a movie or something made about it.
I don't know.
Al Capone or something.
I know nothing about it.
It was to reduce vandalism and promote more wholesome fun for kids. Initially, children were encouraged to sing a song, recite poetry, and offer some other kind of entertainment.
Is it like on Arrested Development, they have Cinco de Cuatro?
Yeah. And it's weird because they've always done it the day before Halloween, but they had the weather was really bad this year. So it was the first year since 1938 where they actually trick-or-treated on Halloween and not Beggar's Night.
And it didn't fall apart, right?
I guess not, because we're a few weeks later. Have you heard about like an uprising in Iowa that is, I don't know, like taking over the United States or anything? No zombie apocalypse?
No.
Well, I mean, in Iowa, it's so boring. They might be bored and walking around like zombies.
You know, back in the early 1900s, there was a lot of things that people were worried about. Like, so my favorite pastime is pinball. And for a very long time, there were cities that equated pinball with misbehaving. And so it was banned, and it was banned in Chicago and I believe the state of Illinois until recently. As a matter of fact, in New York, the mayor of New York, LaGuardia, there's actually a famous picture of him smashing a pinball machine to try to get rid of the degeneracy in his city.
Were you crushed on that day? Because it seems like that. Really
that was before me.
This was Illinois, you said?
Illinois and New York.
Illinois is like the most depressed state, so there might be a connection there.
Pinball prohibition, 1939. So that's about the same time with the trick-or-treating in Des Moines.
Oh, prohibition. That worked out well for everybody.
Illinois, and in March 17th, 1937, Illinois' attorney general declared that all pinball machines were to be outlawed as gambling devices. He called them pernicious and dangerous to the public welfare.
Ooh, cool points for pernicious. Nice.
I'm curious how that is a gambling machine.
Well, back then they actually had, they didn't have flippers, so they'd have the plunger thing, and it would go down like a little, it would kind of go down the trail still, but kind of bounce off a whole bunch of things. And if it landed in a certain place, you would get money. So they were actually, people used them for gambling.
Oh, yeah. So pinball was way more fun back then.
So pinball machines were used like roulette wheels, with guests gathering around them and casting bets on where the ball would land.
That's funny.
Well, no wonder.
Chicago and several Illinois cities stood with the ban until the 1970s. And in the 1980s, a Chicago alderman described pinball establishments as nests for gangs and drugs.
Wow.
There's
how we've changed.
Can you imagine a pinball gang?
Yeah.
Look at me. Think of me, like multiples of me.
Bunch of middle-aged men with their pocket protectors and
That's kind of how history works, though, right? In like decades from now, people will be like talking about, I don't know, things that we think are evil or crazy now,
right?
That are just so silly.
Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Are you saying maybe someday pinball podcasts will be outlawed? I don't know.
Maybe.
So there you go. There's the mayor of New York pushing over a pinball machine. He's had enough.
He is. Oh.
There's another one. There you go. Smashing the pinball machine.
Whoa. He really did take a sledgehammer.
Yeah, they did. They were done with them. They didn't want it.
And there's a axe over here.
He looks like the guy in Dukes of Hazzard in that first picture.
Well, this one looks like Dick Tracy's hitting a pinball machine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dukes of Hazzard.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The Boss Hog or whoever it is.
Yeah. You can get this pinball machine out of here.
And that's the Nugget. NuggetHateMail@gmail.com. It would be interesting to think about, what are the things that I don't know. So that was 1937. So about 80 years. What do you think? Yeah. What are the things in 80 years do you think people will look back and go, either why did you do that? Or how about this? Why was that outlawed?
Well, they'll probably be wondering about social media.
Right.
Why did we do that?
What? Yeah.
We'll see.
Here's another awkward. This is kind of a funny picture. One more funny picture from the pinball prohibition for your viewing enjoyment. Trying to get rid of all the pinballs.
Oh, that's the best. Right.
Get them out of there. Get rid of those pinballs.
What are they going to do with them?
Without any context, one would think, why is he grabbing all those gumballs?
Yeah.
Well, and pinballs are very heavy. They're metal. So, he's grabbing 2 handfuls of them. Is he going to put them in his pocket and
throw them at the hoodlums?
I guess so.
And then make everybody fall down because they were stepping on them and they didn't know where to go.
You could roll them down the street. It would be very cartoon-like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Put some banana peels in there. That'd be good.
There you go. All right.
Goodness.
One more picture. This is great. I've never seen these pictures. There's actually a very silly biopic of the man who saved pinball and his true story. It's based on a true story of a guy who.
He looks so evil in that picture.
Look at that. I know he looks like the Penguin almost.
Yeah.
That's his laugh.
Those kids won't be having any more fun.
There you go.
So the turnaround of this, the timing of it, is that because they had to wait until a chunk of people were no longer around and in power?
For the pinball thing?
I'm
It was
guessing
like
that when they realized that
pinball machine graveyard.
pinball was boring.
I mean, but it took 4 decades or 3.5 decades for that.
Yeah, I think it just became sort of where it was no longer a big deal, but there's just like all those old laws that are in the books, and then people talk about like, this is still illegal to do to tether your horse to something,
because these people felt so strongly about it, they would have to be out of the picture or have changed their mind.
Yeah.
I mean, now when it comes to pinball, the only thing you're gambling on is whether or not you're going to have fun.
Thank you. Thanks.
How many quarters you're going to lose?
Thanks, Sam.
At least you and Andy don't have to fight over it.
Andy always gets to have more fun playing pinball than I do because I am so bad at it.
I love it. I love pinball.
My quarter goes in, and he's still playing with the first round while I'm on my third quarter. So
I love me some pinball, man, all the time.